What's going on, everybody? Todd here with Tab Cybersecurity, bringing you a video on the Practical Network Penetration Tester exam that I recently took and passed. In this video, I'm just going to give a high-level overview of the exam, my notes as far as mental notes, and just some other items that might be able to help you along your journey if it's something that you decide to do. Let's hop into it. So starting off with a high-level overview of the Practical Network Penetration Tester certification from TCM Security's perspective. They say it's a one-of-a-kind exam that assesses a student's ability to perform a network penetration test at a professional level. There are two offerings as far as purchasing this exam. I'll get to that in a moment. What you have with the exam is you have 120 hours from your scheduled start time to, obtain domain compromise or pwn the domain or whatever you want to throw at it as far as a naming convention goes. Then you have 48 hours to submit your assessment report. That report must include mitigations for the items that you found, and especially the items that you leverage to work your way through the domain leading to the domain compromise. Then you have to perform a 15-minute debrief of that report, which includes the findings and the mitigations of those findings. The two options for purchase are standalone exam for $299. As you see with the package, you get one-time exam attempt, a lifetime voucher, and one free retake. Or you can purchase the training with the certification, and it comes with the 5 courses of practical ethical hacking, Linux privilege escalation, Windows privilege escalation, open source intelligence fundamentals, and the external pen test playbook. Look over the process for getting certified and pay special attention to down here that they do offer discounts for military, veterans, students, and first responders. I have no idea what that percentage is, but if you fall into any of those categories, you might want to look into it. And as you scroll a little further down, there's a frequently asked questions. Again, something you probably want to review if you have any questions that arise when you're reviewing this information. It's highly probable that the question's already been answered. Check it out. On the screen here, I have displayed, the 5 courses associated with the PNPT certification. You have practical ethical hacking, where you will learn the fundamental hacking tools and methodologies from real-world perspectives and experiences. Linux privilege escalation, Windows privilege escalation, OSINT or open source intelligence fundamentals, and the external pen test playbook. All 5 of these courses, I highly encourage that you watch, review, take notes on if that's your thing, so that you can best prepare yourself to pass this exam. Yes, you do have a retake, and I'm sure some people want to YOLO, I got a free retake, I don't have to worry about diving into this material. You probably definitely want to pump the brakes here and go through the material, really pay attention, go through the boxes that are referenced throughout the material. They do provide you VMs for most of them, I believe, and just make sure you do the things, not just watch them. Before I jump into my overall thoughts on the exam, I want to talk about the exam process a little bit. So once you register and schedule your exam, you'll receive an email within 10 minutes of your scheduled start time. And then you have 120 hours to compromise a domain. Then an additional 48 hours to turn in your penetration test report. Once that has been approved, you'll receive another email to schedule your debrief. You'll do your debrief, and you'll get a pass or fail pretty much right on the spot. They'll release your credential, which results in another email where you can go claim that. My experience with the exam, it was really fun. There were times where I was scratching my head a little bit, trying to figure out, am I missing something? Did I miss something in a previous part of the exam that I needed to, have to move further at this point? There's going to be times like that where you might question yourself, especially if you're new to penetration testing. I've only ever tinkered with Hack the Box and Try Hack Me. So by no means am I an expert in those things. I understand the methodology and whatnot, but when it's practical and not a capture the flag-esque situation, it's a little bit different. You have to have a different mindset to approach that. So outside of the exam, the courses were phenomenal. They're very well produced. They give you all the information required to pass the exam. Highly advise that during those courses, if at any point Heath says, I'll leave this to you to go do further research, go do that research, because it's only going to help you in the exam. Now, not everything that he says that toward is in the exam, but I highly encourage you to go check those items out and dive a little bit deeper beneath the surface on those topics. As for the tools that I use outside my Kali VM, I use Notion for taking my notes and dumping my screenshots as I went along the way. I would simply just take a screenshot. I did this thing. I would take a screenshot, put the description with it. And that really helped me when it came to the penetration test report, because I kept fairly well-written notes along the way. Then when it was time to create that penetration test report, which they also provide an example report for you, so that you can borrow that and make it your own or whatever you need to do, so that you're not trying to reinvent the wheel for a penetration test report when they provide you an example that you can use. When it was time for me to do that, I took my notes. I put all of the critical items that I found, especially the items that helped me achieve domain compromise, along with industry best practice remediation for those items. So there is going to be a little bit of research for you to do once you've identified the things that ultimately helped you get to domain compromise. And that is pretty much it. Like, there's not a whole lot to discuss about the exam. It's being provided to you by a company who's trying to do their best to give the community as a whole a low barrier to entry. I really respect that, especially when you look at the cost of certifications across the board. I already mentioned earlier in the video the cost of this, but again, $299 for the standalone exam, $399 for the exam with the training. That's really, it's less than the A+ if I'm not mistaken, right? So that's also another entry-level exam. Find the path you want to take. Start down that path. If you realize hey, this isn't for me, pivot to something else. There's a million different ways to go in security. Keep this related to the PMPT before I get on a tangent. I'm known to do that time to time. If you found value in this video, or it's helped you in some way, or if you think it can help others, please sub, share, like, comment. I love when people comment. I really enjoy interacting with folks. So drop me some comments and questions about the exam. I'll answer what I can. Happy hacking. Peace.